Hello and welcome to The Defenders, a show where we try and defend shows that haven't really been critically received very well. I'm your host Stanley and
I am Adam.
I am Adam. See, I get the host title now. I'm pleased with that. This show that we're talking about now, Rim of the World, it's about 4 kids that go on a camping trip. And during this camping trip, aliens invade. And a NASA escape pod crashes to where they are, and they need to take a key over to some center of sorts, and basically
essentially destroy the aliens. So that key has the coordinates for the alien mothership, if you like, and they for some reason can't get it any other way. I don't know, it's EMPs, all of this kind of technology. They explain it throughout the movie poorly, but it does. It does get addressed. Anyway, this key has the coordinates, and they need to nuke the mothership. These kids have the key. They need to bring it to the center.
There we go. Well, that's a nice, simple little explanation there. It gets us all on board.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of people don't like this film. Adam.
Let me be straight with you.
Let's just be serious here. We need to have a serious conversation, Rim of the World.
Let me give you a fact.
Yeah, no one likes you. That's how they should do it in schools. Like, listen, come here. No one likes you, okay? Just go away. Everyone dislikes you. But we're not here to do that. We're here to try and make some attempts at defending Rim of the World. But first we should just give our actual opinions of it. What do you think, Adam?
I thought it was really messy. It's not a great movie. The characters are all over the place. It has good things about it, right? But the characters are all over the place. The cinematography just changes in the middle of the film. The CGI is absolutely awful. It has its moments. Look, I'm a person that is very easy to please when it comes to movies. I got entertained, but it's not for everybody.
He's super easy. He enjoyed The Babysitter.
Babysitter's not bad.
He's the lowest hanging fruit. So how do you go about finding what's good in this film? Right? I think that's an interesting question. When you look at bad films like these, can you find anything that was redeeming about it or had anything nice about it? And as Adam said, yeah, the first 10 minutes of this film had really, I think, quite decent cinematography.
Yeah.
So the first 10 minutes of it are shot in this camp where the kids are getting acquainted with other camp members.
A summer camp.
And yeah, I guess that is what a summer camp is.
And, you said camp, so I'm clarifying it's a summer camp.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
This is why we work so well as a team. And the shots displayed in the scene, shots do what shots are supposed to do. Okay, so here's an example. There's a kid who's afraid of heights. How do you show he's afraid of heights? Well, when he's on the zipliner, shoot him going up the zipliner at a low angle shot to show how tall the zipliner is, exaggerate the height. Have a lower angle shot, not low angle shot, sorry. Shoot the ground, zoom out of the ground while losing focus. Do not only show that it's getting higher and higher the more he stares at it, the more his fear is making him see this as taller than it actually is. But having the camera fade shows that, it's getting more disorientating for him as he goes up. It feels really weird to say this because you're probably hearing this as like, yeah, well, that's just what a camera's supposed to do. And the movie isn't as good later in the film. Like, after the camp starts, this horrible sepia.
Sepia,
Sepia filter hits. And there's a lot of odd camera choices that just don't show off the natural beauty of Los Angeles. Because Los Angeles is a nice place. You can do a lot with its scenery. Like, for instance, there's one scene where the kid needs to climb up the satellite. How do you reincorporate the camera work that was used before to show that he's getting over his fear? Or that his fear is coming back and he needs to conquer it? It's just a medium shot.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most interesting thing about this film for me. Like, the first 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, the most interesting film is also the soundtrack was done by Ben McCurry, who did God of War 4 soundtrack. And it's not the best. It's really, really generic. So, it's very odd. Like, you look at it, it's like, wow, you did God of War. Like, what's going on here, man? Bet Bear, come on, let's have a little. How long are we going to do this conversation, man?
I don't know. Should probably move on.
Move on. Let's move on. So, what else is there to talk about the film?
I know you don't agree with me with this, but I quite like the soldier character. The main guy, the casting choice. I'm not talking about the casting choice here. I'm just talking like in general of the movie. I'm talking about that one guy specifically because it's his soldier in the movie, right? I found it relatively funny because this movie is a parody, and we'll go into more detail now in a second. But I do want to talk about this guy because this movie is very clear. Wouldn't say very clearly a parody, but it is a parody. It feels like it could be. It is a parody.
I think that's a really interesting point that we're going to bring up later. But continue making your point because it leads in nicely.
Thank you. So yeah, but
are you welcome?
It's a parody. Okay, this movie's a parody, and they have this soldier, which is this sergeant. I don't know, some high-ranking soldier in the middle of Los Angeles, basically escorting people out of the city so they can fight the aliens and limit human death, so on. The kids, like most kids would probably do, think, well, we can't do this. We can't go to this area, this building, and give the key because we're just kids. These people are the military. They are the American military. So let's give the key to them. So they go to the sergeant, and he's just such. No offense to the guy, but he's such a generic-looking man. Like, he looks like an action man. It's like the stereotype of. I am the army guy. We can solve anything whatsoever.
I'm going to be honest, Adam, right? When I was listening to this the first time, right, I thought you meant his acting was generic. But, oh my God, you're just saying the dude looks generic.
Because the thing is...
God, I got to give commending to this casting choice. They picked the most boring human being they could ever find.
Not the most boring, the most action man looking guy. You know the action man, the figure, right? The action figure.
Yeah, you're saying he looks plastic.
Yes! Because that's the thing. That's what I found funny about. It's just this generic soldier. It's this toy.
I thought you were making this entire time like a point about his acting. Like when we pre-discussed this, I was like,
it's also about his acting.
His acting's pretty bad.
But his acting, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but his acting actually kind of suits his character.
Yeah, well, it's like this almost, like you say, it's almost like this stereotypical action hero that you find in movies in the 80s.
Exactly.
I think this is the most interesting thing to talk about when defending Around the World. And it links back to its portrayals of race. It's been pointed out, and I'm going to be honest, fairly, that this movie does not do its best to represent black people or Asian people. They feel very stereotypical roles that would be found in an 80s movie. The black kid is talking almost like how a black 80s kid would. He's looking at the aliens going, that's nasty. Yeah. And stuff like that. And the Asian kid acts as
this wise woman.
Wise woman.
Yeah, she's 12.
Who's 12. Who I think a person correctly pointed out, and I want to make it be clear, we're not saying that she's the same as because this character's Chinese and Mr. Miyagi is Japanese, but it does make a very good point that she does act as, and like she's a young woman and he's an old man. That's also like quite a big difference. Like they're literally polar opposites, but they sort of fulfill this role of the sort of Asian character acting as the wise Asian, yeah. It's a stereotypical role, and a lot of people are very confused by if this film is a parody or not. As Adam mentioned, the action man type character, he seems almost like he's in a parody film. This film is almost indistinguishable from parody. I think that the only way you can tell that this is sort of being a bit facetious with its storytelling is when you have these two black characters talk about like how Toy Story is actually a representation of racial segregation.
Yes. Huh? The cowboy, spaceman, and Mr. and Mrs. Potato People, they represent the brothers.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We're the toys.
Preach.
And when the white man leaves the room, we get to have fun.
We get to shake it up.
But when the white man comes back in the room, we got to get stiff and do what they tell us to do.
Now you're on my level.
So it's obviously the ruling class justification for the inferior conditions of the working class.
My brother.
Andy's the white man, and the toys are sort of black characters who are under the segregation of Andy. And then they say, well, hang on a second, why do we talk like we're in the 80s? It's like, segregation of the white man. Okay, here's the thing, right? I'm saying that, like, we make the joke, this guy doesn't know how black people talk. I think I don't know if he does, but, like, it's very purposeful. Characters are represented almost like how they would be in the 80s on purpose. And here's where the confusion gets to a lot of people, because, like, is it a parody or not? I think it's just an earnest, like, his attempt to look at 80s movies and bring them over to a contemporary setting. Like, look at all these 80s tropes without any level of analysis or look at the discourse of these characters, right? He's just bringing the tropes wholesale. He's not trying to say anything about the characters. So you just have these sort of 80s characters with these... it's contemporary. It's got a contemporary kick to it. But it's like... These characters are being represented how they would in the 80s, except they're just being more modern about it. And like, it's just, look at these 80s films I really enjoyed, but without any level of analysis put into it on why these tropes have changed.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the film very odd.
Yeah. I don't know how to go from there, but it's true, and that's well, like you say, that's the reason why this feels more like a parody than anything else.
Well, it feels like a parody to us, but then, like I said again, to other people have rightly pointed out, this doesn't feel like a parody. It feels like it's trying to be genuinely serious with its representation of characters.
Does it? Well,
to some people, it felt like that.
And
if you look at the reviews, it's very fairly pointed out that these...
I don't think the movie does its best to show that this is a parody, but the thing, it's like this, the scene you said, like that level of self-awareness. I feel as though it's trying to tell people that this is a parody.
But that's the thing. The reason it fails as a parody, because that level of self-awareness only exists within like that line.
Yeah, well, but that's there's no need for more self. Well, maybe there is a need for more self-awareness.
Do you know what that scene's like? Actually,
what?
That scene's like, hey, listen, right? We know this is a bad stick, black people. Like, listen. We know that this isn't particularly a flattering portrayal, but that's the joke, so just go with it. I'm not sure if that makes the joke better. In fact, pretty sure it doesn't actually.
No, that makes it way worse.
It makes it worse, actually. But that's what that entire line was for. It's very odd, because like I said, there's a lot of trope. I was thinking, like, what is this film? And I was like, it's The Goonies. But then I was thinking, no, it's not quite The Goonies. There's something different about it. Oh, yeah, The Alien. Oh, yeah, it's Super 8. Except if Super 8 wasn't that good. I don't know if Super 8 is good. I haven't seen it in a while.
I don't know either, to be honest.
So...
Do you... go ahead.
Oh, no, you go first.
Well, I was going to say, because we are talking now about how people perceive this online.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the parent side of the movie?
The parent side.
Like the criticism that the parents give.
This movie, and this is something that completely baffles me, because I can understand the criticisms of how race is treated, because quite frankly, if this is a parody movie, it has not in any way done a good job to establish it is. But the way that people are talking about how sex is represented on this movie is, well, ridiculous. So basically, this movie has a lot of... not sexual innuendo even, just like straight up sex jokes. Kids talking about sex. Like there's a scene where there's this one kid, Darish, and he talks about, I can't believe I'm going without having sex. Actually, I mean, without having sex with two people, I've of course had sex with one person. And it's like, it made a lot of people really uncomfortable apparently online, that kids talking about sex. And let's have a serious conversation about this, right, guys? Parents, come closer to the computer. We're gonna have an important conversation, serious talk. Your kids know what sex is at 13, right? I mean, unless they're very, very sheltered, they know what sex is at 13. There's nothing really too shocking about what's said in this movie.
No.
I mean, it's not a fair representation of what kids are actually like.
No.
But kids are saying sort of the same realm of things, right? They're talking about sex. And it really surprised me to see a lot of parents really angered by how they talk about sex in this movie.
It wasn't funny. The jokes were just not funny. But the thing is, it's something that the kid could say. Like, you could see, like, 13-year-olds could act the way that these kids would.
Yeah,
it's like
but-
you say, I mean, I haven't had sex. I mean, I haven't had sex with 2 people. Of course I've had it with one.
Yeah, it's a stupid kid who doesn't know anything about sex.
Exactly.
Talking about sex. That is so common.
It's incredibly common.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, not good. It's not particularly good writing, but in terms of writing, maybe I think it's a fair criticism to say maybe the sex was too much in the movie. But like, people are straight up offended by how sex is talked about in this movie, and it's completely baffling to me. Like, how do I explain this? How would you say? What are some of the criticisms we saw?
Well, it's mainly that the language as well. There are a lot of swearing, they say, and
Yeah.
I mean, was there really that much swearing? Like, there was quite a fair bit of swearing, okay, but like they censor themselves a lot of the time. Like, wasn't it in one of the last scenes? You know, Alex, the main kid, Ginger, was he?
Yeah.
The main one.
Alex,
anyway.
the ginger kid.
There you go. He throws the Rubik's cube at the alien, right? And then he says, "Bitch." He says the word "bitch." Come here, come at me, bitch. Something like
Yeah.
that. And then it's like mother. He censors himself.
He censors himself. Like, if this isn't, he was gonna drop an F-bomb, but
Yeah.
you know, he stops himself because I guess they ran out on a limit on how many swears they could pull in
I
this
suppose,
movie.
but there's instances like that throughout the movie as well. So like, whereas it's not really particularly polite, the movie, it's not really out of this world as well. You know what I mean? If you think that a 13-year-old is not going to drop a few F-bombs, you're completely mistaken.
I honestly think this is a fascinating fascinating look at our culture almost. That sounds really pretentious, but stay with me here, right? There is this one scene where the Chinese character, what was her name?
Zen?
Zen, yes, I believe. And she needs to get past this dog. She opens a door up, and this alien dog, which is hunting them down, bursts through. And before she opens it, one of the signs says, "No, stop! Do not open that door." She opens it anyway, and then the dog mauls the scientist to death. And while the girl's just looking at this scientist being mauled to death, she uses that death as a situation where she could advance forward. Like, oh well, that dog's attacking her. I guess I can move forward.
She's completely unfazed, and it is baffling that a lot of people are like, "Oh, sex talk in this," and "Oh, the bad language," and then completely ignore the fact this woman is just being mauled to death.
Yeah.
And the kid is unfazed about it.
There are characters that die really, really horrible deaths in
Vicious
this film.
deaths, yeah.
NASA scientist gets a finger stuck in her mouth.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. Have you seen that kill? It's hilarious.
I can't remember that.
The alien just has like big chubby fingers. It just sticks the chubby finger in her mouth and she's like, "Oh,"
I can't.
and she dies.
I do not remember
It was
that.
one of the stupidest deaths I've ever seen. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's very interesting to me that the discourse about this film has been around how kids are talking about sex.
Yeah.
Talking about sex in a way that kids do talk about sex. They just do, right? Parents, listen to me. I'm telling you, at 13, kids are talking about sex in a similar manner how these kids are. But people are so they don't talk about how, like, this woman's mauled to death. It seems very odd, like, our society's focus on sex. And I think this is a really good case study of that.
It really does. It's hard. I don't understand why they would. It's such something to you focus on something and you completely forget the others. Like, if something you focus on both, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
As in, like,
Well, no, not even focus on both. Because violence isn't that much of a problem in media.
Yeah.
Like, there's violence all the time in these kinds of movies. Actually, you know what? First of all, this movie's a 15, so
Yeah,
I don't get why people are surprised. Like, did they not check the age rating before they looked at this Netflix film? There's like tons of reviews on this website called Common Sense Media looking at this film and then complaining about the sex in the film, but like, well, the talks about sex.
Yeah.
But it's like, this movie was a 15, at least in the UK. You didn't need to click on this. Obviously, if your child was younger than that, they shouldn't have been watching the movie anyway. But
I know it's. Do you have anything else that you want to say about the movie? Anything else good?
this is a hard movie to defend.
It is. It's
This
a
is
hard movie to defend because it's not good. Like, I mean, you know what? I do want to say the character backgrounds are actually not that bad.
Character backgrounds.
I would say the character backgrounds could actually be interesting. Like, Alex, I don't know if it would be PTSD, but he lost his father in the fire, even though they both could have saved, but Alex was too scared to come out of the fire. Anyway, the dad came to get Alex. This something fell on the father, and the father could just not escape. So the father died in the fire, saving Alex. That's one of his main character traits. Then you have Gabriel. Okay, Gabriel has dyscalculia. He lived in a poor neighborhood with his single mom. Was it?
Yes.
I thought it was, again, single mother. He had to work to help her out, and then one day he just had this fit because he can't. He has issues with numbers.
Money. Yeah, someone accused him of shortchanging.
Yeah,
and he
just lost it.
Lost it
because he got too pressured and he lost it. And then you have that character background. You have Darius, right? Even though he acts as this super cool kid, douchebag and so on. They have all these character traits. Typical 80s black kid. Blah blah blah. Anyway, his background, his father. We learned that he has been imprisoned, or he will be imprisoned. We know that his father dealt with yachts and cars, so most likely could be fraud, something like that. You see, so Zhen, isn't she an orphan as well?
Is she? No.
I thought she said she was an orphan.
Did she say she was an orphan?
I thought it was the case. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
they didn't go into her story that much.
No, there's the thing. They didn't go into these stories that much. They didn't really use. I suppose they kind of did. They did have that character, but it was a very bad character. They didn't do as much as they could with these. With these. The thing is,
see, I'm gonna stop you there because I don't think I fully agree with the point you're making. You're saying that these are very interesting settings for characters, but we've seen these done tons before.
But here's the thing: I think they're interesting because these are kids as well. So the problem with the movie, I feel as it couldn't decide. It tried to touch these like really sensitive topics and then make it a stupid comedy. Like it's toilet humor and all this kind of other stupid jokes that they made around. So that's the thing. The background itself is not bad. They didn't use it to create a good character arc.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's the most important thing though. Like you can have the most interesting background on Earth, but if you don't like capitalize on it, then what's the point?
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say here. The could have been the character could have been good, but the backgrounds I found them quite interesting.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there weren't too bad backgrounds. It's nice. Like to be honest, I can't think of any person who has dyscalculia in movies that I've watched. So like in terms of representation, at least like you got that. Yeah. Hey, any viewers who have dyscalculia,
this is your movie.
This is your movie. Oh no, that's awful. This is their movie, Rim of the World.
Yeah.
Darn.
I hope you happy.
Yeah, that's what you get. That's what you deserve.
Yeesh.
Yeesh. So, all right, maybe end this off.
Should we
talk about the hero of this film?
Yeah. I feel we should give more credit to this one character. I feel it's been underappreciated.
Listen, right? This film seems really bad, like the way we've displayed it. I mean, the most interesting thing about it has been discourse, and that's discourse from Twitter users who are getting 10 likes from saying, "Yeah, I didn't really like how this film had kids talk about sex." Let's get into how this film's really supposed to be seen, right? A lot of the complaints is about how the kids are annoying. Here's what I'm going to say to that. That was on purpose. You want these kids to die because our hero of the story needs to just murder these children. He just needs to get them like that. And our hero of the story is...
the alien.
The alien.
Yes.
So think about it. So... we really thought about this because it's very confusing why an alien would chase down 4 kids. Like when this keep in mind, this is a world invasion. Europe and Asia apparently got destroyed
in a day.
Less than a day. The aliens just went in and... So why would you have an alien who doesn't even have his own spaceship focus on hunting down these 4 kids so much? And then when we really thought about it, it didn't make sense how much this alien was dying. Like... these 4 kids kill him 3 times. 3 times in the film. They crash a car on him. They trick him into a swimming pool where he drowns himself and cannot get out of that swimming pool for the next 13 hours of the film. Of the timeline of the film. Yeah, this is a long film.
It felt like 13 hours at times.
Yeah, but like, really good job defending this we're doing. But yeah, and it's like, how can this alien, who's part of an extraordinarily intelligent race, not get out of a swimming pool for 13 hours? And then we figured it out, right? He's the outcast
He's
of the group.
He's the one who no one wants to be around.
Yeah, they're like, listen, John, right? We appreciate the work you do, right? You see, none of them have the courage to tell it to his face.
Yeah.
And they're like, John, how about you just go get those kids over there. We'll deal with the military men. You know,
You attack the camp.
you have a fun time chasing down these small kids for like 2 days. Like a solid 2 days, and he can't hunt these kids down.
No, here's the thing, right? Like, it's like, John, you know, we'll deal with this, but you know what you could do? We can't have anybody around the city. We can't have anybody just escaping us. So you have the most important job. You have to go to this camp. You must. This is a training camp, right? So they send John. Good old John tries to kill a few people. He does successfully.
He kills one guy. You got to give that to John.
As a scientist.
Yeah. And that's a scientist.
Exactly, right? But then he faces these kids.
Astronaut.
Well, I mean, surely you're a scientist or an engineer to be an astronaut as well.
I don't know.
We're getting too hung on this.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But yeah, so there you go. He's successful. He gets his hopes up, right? And then there's these kids that start eluding him. It's like, well, this can't be, you know? Like, John can't go back to Terry, his superior, and be like, I'm sorry, but 4 kids escaped me.
Yeah, no, it's not good look.
No, it's like Terry will just lose it.
No one's told him he's a joke. He still thinks he can impress people, but he can't do that in his own mind if he hasn't even been able to take down 4 kids.
Exactly.
And that's when this movie really comes in. I mean, you're just there rooting for him. It's like, please, just kill these annoying children off. Just murder them.
This is actually a tragedy if you think about it. Because this alien has this one mission. This alien has this one mission. Hunt
You
down
are from
these
an
kids.
alien warrior race. Your brethren right now are slaughtering this developed society like they are nothing, squatting them like the flies they are.
And these kids are eluding you.
These prepubescent children.
These tweens. But think about it again. This is a tragedy because he keeps losing again and again against the kids, even though he tore these people apart who were about to kill his prey. He can't have that either because he's too angry about it.
Yeah, these 4 guys were going to shoot these kids, and he needed to stop them because if they could succeed in killing these children, this primitive species, what does that make him? And then you realise, right? The reason he goes for there's this one scene, and we didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
These 3 kids are cornered, right? One of them has a scratch mark on him. He's about to die.
That's Darius, Senjen, and Gabriel, all in one corner.
All in one corner. You get free with one stone. That's not a bad deal. But he turns round when Alex throws a Rubik's cube a Rubik's cube at his head. I think Cubics is the name of a show of like this CG show.
actually,
yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the point. He turns round. This kid has the audacity to throw a Rubik's cube at him, and
This is the weakling, right? We're talking about Alex here.
he sees himself in Alex. That's why he chases Alex when he could have taken down 3 at that time, because he sees the weakness. His weakness is self-projected onto Alex,
And he doesn't want that. He can't accept that. He can't be like, these kids have been eluding me, especially this one. This one, weakling, coward, dares to throw a Rubik's Cube at me. Oh, this can't go unpunished.
What does that make him if I can't kill him?
Exactly. But this is why I say, the reason why I say this is a tragedy is because our hero, the underdog, which actually had his literal dog, underdog, burned by these kids.
They killed this guy's dog.
Exactly.
He's like, I think even the kids make a joke like he's the alien John Wick.
John
But
Wick.
he's true, because I hate those kids. I want them to die more than anything else.
Exactly.
And this alien hero just trying to save trying to revenge his papa, going at these kids. Damn, what a character.
And this is why this is a tragedy, because he failed. He could not kill the kids, and the kids managed to deliver the key.
He's the most human person in this entire film. We were wondering, why do these kids act as characters? That's because they're not the real human. They're not the real gooey human center of this story. It's the alien.
The alien.
Damn. And like, to be fair, even though like this is like a meme, like he probably is more interesting than 90% of Marvel movie villains. And look how popular Marvel movies are.
So there you go, kids with dyscalculia. This is actual good representation. It's a good movie.
That's not for the dyscalculia kids. They get the unhuman one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's if you're an alien if you're one of like those lizard people that's disguised as us, like
Oh,
you've got
one of
good
those lizard people in the government.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got good representation here. Although, like, you might just want to watch V. V's probably better representation for lizard people. You have no idea what V is. Don't laugh at that.
Okay.
All right, it's over. We're ending this now. Go away.
Have a nice day.